Hello guys, welcome, it's Marek, and this is another episode of PhotoshopLightroomTV, your video podcast about anything Photoshop, Lightroom, photography as well. And this is a new episode, new week, and I've got a great tutorial for you. Now, as you know, the Photoshop CC is coming out soon. Adobe announced it a couple of weeks ago, and they're going to release it later this month. But I also have some great news for you. For the last number of months, I've been working on my new book. Now, you know, I've published some books on Dreamweaver, Dreamweaver CS5 and Dreamweaver CS6, and I've got a book about Linux as well. But now, it's time for a Photoshop book. So, you're the first to know that I have been working on a Photoshop book. Now, this book is coming out soon. And this book will cover Photoshop CS6 and Photoshop CC as well. So I'll be giving you more details in the coming weeks, and I will let you know how to get it. I will let you know when it's coming out, but it's coming out soon. Yeah. Now I've got a Photoshop tutorial for you as well. Now this will be a tutorial on text and smart objects. I'll be creating a reflected text effect, editable reflected text effect, and I'll be using a technique that I've been using for some time. I used it in the past, but recently I got reminded about this technique by Corey Barker. Thank you, Corey, for that. So that's the Photoshop tutorial. Let's jump into Photoshop, and I'll be showing you this great tutorial on using text and smart object. I'm going to create a new document, 800 by, let's say, 672, that's fine. Background, I'll leave it white for now, and I'm going to fill it with black. So I'm just going to press D to change my colors to the defaults, and then I'll press Alt Backspace to fill my background with the foreground color, because black is my foreground color. Or if your background color is black, you can use Control Backspace. I'm going to add some text here. So I'll use the text tool. I'm going to change the color of the text to white. I'll look for some nice font here. Something that could be bold. Now let's see this one here. I'm going to type some text. Bond. Maybe not this one here. Let's see what else we got on here. Let me just zoom in a bit. Let's see what else we got in here. No. Stay with me. Maybe this one here. There you go. I'm going to make it just a bit bigger. So, well, with the text font sizes, you can choose options from drop-down menu. You probably know you can type in here as well. But what you can also do is move the cursor over this icon here and click and drag to left or right to change the values. I'm going to make it a bit bigger. Here you go, so it'll be easier for you to see. And what I want to do is I want to create a reflection of this text here below. So it's like as if the text is on the surface. And I'm going to slightly blur it, make it slightly semi-transparent. But what I was thinking, and this is something that Corey was showing, is okay, well, something similar is, okay, now what if you want to change the text? Because we're going to have two text layers. One will be reflection. I don't want to keep retyping both text layers at the same time. So what you can do is, this is actually something I knew before, but then when I watched Corey, I was like, oh yeah, that's true. That's right, exactly. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to convert this text layer to a smart object. So I'll just right click on it and choose convert to smart object. Or you could use the layer menu as well. Now, even though this is a smart object now, it's still fully editable. The text is still fully editable. Okay, so now that it's a smart object, let me just make this a bit bigger. I'm going to duplicate the text layer. So I'll just right click, duplicate layer, or you could just press Ctrl J or Command J. Bond copy, that's fine, okay. Now with the move tool, I'll move it down a bit. I'm going to hold the shift key down to move it in a straight line. As I'm dragging. And I'll nudge it a bit with the up arrow key on the keyboard, just so they get a bit closer here. That should be okay. Here we go. Now I'm going to flip this text layer here. So I'll go to Edit, Transform, Flip Vertical to flip it. Looks good. Now I'm going to give it a layer mask. So the text will be fading into the background at the bottom here. So with the text, I'm just going to move it down a bit. So it's below. Okay. And then I'm going to give it a layer mask. Just click layer mask icon. Make sure the layer mask icon is selected. You can just click on it. If you're not sure whether your layer mask or layer is selected, just look at the top of your document window and you should see the words layer mask here. Okay. Now the layer mask selected, I'm going to use the gradient tool. I'll make sure I'm using black and white gradient. The third gradient is always black and white. Also, if you set your colors to the defaults, your first gradient should be black and white as well. Because mine is white to black, not black to white. Also, I'm using the linear gradient. Now, because my gradient is white to black, I'll be dragging from the top to the bottom. So I'll just click, hold the Shift key down to create it in a straight line, and I'll just drag it down. This looks good. The other thing I was thinking is maybe blur it a bit. So I'm going to select the layer thumbnail, not the layer mask, not anymore. And then I'll go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. Now, because my layer is a smart object, this will become an editable smart filter. Amazing. So Gaussian Blur. Just 1 pixel will be fine. That's okay. I'll click OK. I'm also going to lower the opacity a bit of the layer. Just a bit more. Here we go. Looks good. Maybe we could skew it a bit, but you get the idea. Now, what if you want to change the text? Well, that's really easy. Now, I'm going to edit this layer here because this is the original. This one is a duplicate of this layer. So I'm going to double click on the layer thumbnail for the smart object to edit it. Also, you see the message saying that you should save the files when you're done. That's fine. I'll just click OK. I'm going to use the text tool and I'll highlight the text and I'll type something else here. Say stop. Okay, I've got a stop here. And you can see here as well. So I'm going to close the file and save it and hold on. And it stopped, right? And both layers updated at the same time. Welcome back. It's Marek here again, marekmularczyk.com. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you learned something new. Now, because this tutorial is, well, let's say longer than usual, this is the only tutorial this week. I don't want to make PhotoshopLightroomTV longer than 10 to 12 minutes, so you don't get bored and don't fall asleep. So, this is the only tutorial this week, but I'm going to have some more tutorials for you in the coming episodes. I'll have more Lightroom 5 tutorials for you as well. And by the way, Lightroom 5 is now out. Yes, Lightroom 5 is now available. And remember to have a look on my blog, PhotoshopLightroomBridge.co.uk, because I've got some posts about Lightroom 5. And one of the posts is about some bugs that were found in Lightroom 5. So there's a couple of things to be aware of. So have a look on my blog, PhotoshopLightroomBridge.co.uk, and find out more about this and other things Lightroom and Photoshop related. You can also sign up for my friends list. When you go to PhotoshopLightroomBridge.co.uk, you just look on the right hand side and sign up so you can get some emails from me, you can get some offers, discounts, maybe some free stuff as well. Okay, thank you for watching. I'm Marek Mularczyk. This was Photoshop Lightroom TV, and thank you for stopping by. Bye bye.